Hey friends, welcome to Project Homestead. Today we're going to talk about my whole health journey, where I'm coming from, where I currently am, and where I want to be. And that's what we're going to do today. I'm also going to share the health practices that I'm going to be putting into place and the goals that I'm hoping to achieve from putting these health practices in place. And maybe if you're on a health journey right now, whether that's weight loss or trying to gain strength or whatever it is that you're trying to do, you could share with me in the comments down below what it is that you're doing and we can support each other. I would love that. I would love to go on a journey with friends. I would love to help build a beautiful health community where we're all just kind of checking in. No one has to do what everyone else is doing. There's no like better plan than the other plan. It's just what we know works for us, and we're all coming together to support one another. I would love that. Okay, let's get started in this video. I'm just gonna get myself comfortable. Just a second, I think my dog's eating the cat food. Rosie, come here, Rosie. Come on. Come here. Come on. Come here. Come here, little girl. This is Rosie, everybody. Meet Rosie. She's a Jackawawa. He's a Jackawawa, huh? He's a good girl. He's the best little Jackawawa, huh? She is a Jackawawa. I got her from my husband's grandmother. She went into an aged care facility and couldn't bring Rosie with her. So she needed somebody to take her doggy, and so Rosie is with us, and there's a good girl. He's a good girl, huh? The best girl. She's the best girl. He's a best girl. She's such a sweet dog. She's like literally the best dog. She's been such a smooth transition into our home, except for Lily. My cat Lily kind of hates her. Has like swiped at her a couple times and whatnot, but that's okay, huh? Because you stay away from her now. You're getting smarter. You're wising up. Huh, you're a good girl. I'm just gonna give her her little treat and put her in her bed. Sorry, Rosie likes eating the cat food and the cat's like eating Rosie's food, so I'm constantly just like, no. I don't really know the difference between cat food and dog food, but yeah, it's just weird. What were we saying? Yes, so an overview of my health is that as a teenager, you know, I was pretty fit. I was very, very physically active. I did volleyball, I did track and field. You know, I was just always out and about. I loved ice skating. I loved roller skating. I loved jump rope. I loved swimming. I was very, very physical. It was just, you know, typical goofy looking teenager. And then as I got into my 20s, I think that's when I started developing an eating disorder. I got a job as a nanny, and I was around the most gorgeous people ever. Beautiful people. I worked for beautiful people on the inside and on the outside. I let that kind of play with my head because, you know, the beauty magazines back in the day were very big, and I could not afford all these beauty treatments and all this beauty stuff, and I just compared myself, and I was just never going to be good enough. And I started having an eating disorder as I was a nanny. Didn't gain any really big substantial weight though until I had my son. I mean, I definitely gained weight. I was heavier with my daughter, but like I didn't get to the point of like obese until I had my son. I had a cesarean, and then I ended up getting an infection in my womb and having to go on some serious antibiotics for that, and that just did a number on me, and the weight just got out of control. I was dealing with a lot of depression because I had moved from America to Australia. I was still dealing with all that kind of stuff. Moving countries, that was really huge for me. Being a newlywed, that was really huge for me. Having children, becoming a mother, all these things were really hitting me, and I really lost myself. I had weight loss surgery in 2018, October 12th, 2018, and I lost a pretty good amount of weight. I do want to note though, I had actually on my own lost a lot of weight on my own by good habits, trying to go to the gym, trying to eat really, really healthy. But for some reason, I was incapable of seeing my accomplishments and celebrating my accomplishments. Like I couldn't see it. So at my heaviest, I had gotten myself up to 309 pounds. I don't really know what that is in kilos. I'll stick it somewhere here on the screen what it is in kilos. But I had gotten myself up to 309 pounds. When I had my weight loss surgery, like the weight that I was beforehand, it's kind of annoying because I know that number in kilos. I believe I was 247 pounds. I was 112 kilos. Which I'm pretty sure is 247. I've never been 147 since I was like 10. So I had already gotten myself down like 50 pounds on my own, but I was unable to celebrate and tell myself that I was going in the right direction and that I was gonna be able to do this on my own. Didn't really have a lot of that self-confidence, and all these people around me were having weight loss surgery. Like my sister-in-law had weight loss surgery, she was losing huge weight, and I had a couple of other acquaintances and people that I knew that had also had weight loss surgery and had lost all this weight. I'm seeing all these people have these huge results, and I'm sitting here working my guts off and also not appreciating that I had lost this weight on my own. You know, I had gone down from 309 to 247. So I ended up having the weight loss surgery.
She's just gone now.
This was my husband checking in for me, for my family right after surgery. And I like lost a lot of weight. I got down to like 179 pounds, and I was feeling fantastic. I was feeling amazing, living my best life. I started having this pain here and here, and it was so annoying. I couldn't put my finger on it. And I also started having this really awful burning sensation when I would eat certain things, especially sugar. And then I started noticing my energy started going down, and I started, you know, feeling really anxious all the time, just generally not well. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Huh? What's going on? This is the one that doesn't like the dog. She hates the dog. She's not here for Rosie. Probably the worst day of her life when I brought Rosie home. But yeah, so I started feeling generally unwell. I started, I'll just put a list of stuff that I was feeling. I can't even think off the top of my head, you know, of tired. I was having chronic UTIs. I was getting heart palpitations, feeling very dizzy, disoriented quite a lot. Doing small tasks, I'd have to take breaks. I'd have to take breaks in between different tasks that I was doing. Anxiety, a lot of anxiety. Just so many different things. Again, like I'll try and put a more full list of the different things that I was feeling. I chalked it all up to that weight loss surgery that I'd had. Like, oh great, this is my new life. Like, maybe I'm not absorbing the nutrients, but I was trying to eat so well and I was trying to be so good. I actually at one point gained back a little bit of the weight after I had had my weight loss surgery, and so I ended up doing my own little exercise eating program where I would have an omelet every single day and a salad or some other sort of vegetable rich meal, and I would rebound for an hour. I would stick YouTube on, I'd listen to the things I listened to when I was a teenager, and I just, you know, Backstreet Boys and like all the country music, and I bounced that weight away, and I got myself back to this point where I was feeling fantastic. And then we had to move out of that house because the whole COVID pandemic, because the guy who we were renting from had to move into that house. And so we ended up panic buying this house that we're in now, which I'm so grateful for. I love our little home. But we bought this place and I got myself thrown out of the habit. When I get myself thrown out of the habit, it's really hard for me to get back into a habit, which is very frustrating. But It's how I am when I have a huge thing happen, like we are moving or I go on a really big holiday, I come back and I have a hard time getting back into the swing of things. So over time I gained that weight back again, and now I've gotten myself back up to 209.9 pounds. This doesn't stress me out though, because my new way of thinking is that it's not about losing weight. Like losing weight is like a dog chasing its tail. It's just, it's maddening, and you're never gonna get there and sustain it if it's just about losing weight. So from having this whole health situation come up that I'll touch on in a minute, through having that, I've had to slow right down, and I've had to sit quite a lot, and I've had to be in my head a lot, and I've had to think a lot, and I've thought a lot about the whole process of weight loss to where I am now. And the thing that I realized is I've lost weight multiple times. Losing weight isn't the problem. It's maintaining it. That's my problem. Which took me to my next thought of, why can't I maintain it? Well, that's because I don't keep those daily things in my life that are allowing me to change my body for the better. And I've never allowed myself to fully step into my womanhood and to enjoy that feminine power, to enjoy dressing up. And who cares if somebody looks at you and goes, oh, she looks really pretty. Like, I need to have the self-confidence to be like, thank you, instead of going, oh, well, yeah, like usually I look really awful, and just not accepting a compliment. And I think that this fear of fully stepping into that feminine power has kept me from being able to be in my best body, to be in my best shape. Different fears and things have held me back quite a lot. Here I am now, 39 years old, thinking to myself, like, I'm so young, but yet I feel so gross and tired and disoriented. I feel like I'm on the right track, but I have never fully embraced everything that I've learned and that I know to be true, and just put it into action and kept it in action. I need to blow my nose, I'll be right back. That's where I'm at now. I really want to implement these things in my life, and weight loss will come, and it will just be maintained. And it will be more effortless, the weight loss, because if I'm doing those things that I need to do every single day, the weight loss, it's just going to be a byproduct. Just like weight gain is a byproduct when I stop doing those things. And I need to focus more on what kind of things are stressing me out. What things don't I like about myself? What are my own insecurities? Work on those things and love myself with my habits, and my life will be just so much better. So what are the health challenges that I am facing right now? I have an anastomosis, a narrowing of the small intestine. So my small intestine is about that. It should be about that. And I also have ulceration on the inside of that narrowing. So ulceration on the inside and internal bleeding on that stricture. It's just bleeding in there, and it's putting blood in. I'm losing about 20% of my body's blood every 6 months. Which explains my anemia, explains, all those things that come with the anemia, even down to those chronic UTIs, which is actually a symptom of chronic anemia. A very likely symptom is actual chronic UTIs, which, yeah, your homegirl here, she deals with those. If you've ever had a UTI, you know how awful they are. I was getting them like 2 times a month at least. Now that I know what it is that I've gone through a whole host of things to figure that out. Ended up having colonoscopy and endoscopy. So colonoscopy is where they put a camera up your bum bum. An endoscopy is where they put a camera down your throat. I had both of those things done in one go to check everything. But the colonoscopy going up your bum bum and the endoscopy going down can only go so far. And there's this part in the middle that those two tests cannot see. And that happened to be the part that was affected. That happens to be the part that I have the narrowing of my bowels. They couldn't see that. So it was only after I did the colonoscopy and the anoscopy and they saw that that looked okay. There was a bit of inflammation in there, but nothing really that they were really worried about. It looked actually very healthy and very good. I was still having issues. I was still anemic. I was still getting like constant iron infusions, and then it's just I couldn't keep my iron up, and they're like, what's going on? We need to investigate this even further. So I did something called a capsule anoscopy, where you swallow this little camera that goes down, and then it takes a picture. It takes constant video footage, pretty much pictures, but it looks like video footage. There's a little box that you have to wear, and that helps take the video footage, that records the video footage of the little camera. It sends it to that little thing that you're wearing. He called me and he was like, wanted to know if I had had any other surgeries. And I said, no, I've never had any other surgeries, which can cause the anastomosis, which is that ulceration looking, it looks like somebody has cut around in my bowel, right? Nope, never had that. And then he said, you know, do you take a lot of anti-inflammatories? No, I don't do that. I'm very natural. If I can avoid the medication, I will avoid it. There's even times where I wouldn't even take any sort of UTI medication, and I would just work on trying to get it to pass on its own by taking D-mannose or some other thing like baking soda and water, you know, showers, all the things. You know, I would rather do that than constantly be putting antibiotics in my body. So I'm like, no, that's not me. So at this point, it's kind of like an anomaly. It's like we really don't know why I have this narrowing, which is the next thing that we're going to try and figure out. When they take out that section of my small bowel, they'll go through and they'll analyze it, and they'll be able to come back and go, okay, this is what the information is telling us. So back to my story. So I had that pill, the camera pill, it got stuck, and that's when they found out what was going on, and I was able to go in there and have a look at that video footage, which is where I saw the blood kind of like pooling in there a little bit. I could see the bleeding. It wasn't like gushing blood, but like blood, you know, was kind of accumulating there. And that really got into my head, and I shouldn't have looked at that footage. Hindsight, if I go in and they want to show me any further footage, I will. Lily, no, Lily. You want to come up here? Come on. You want to come up here? Good girl. Here's a good girl. Sorry, had to get the dog. This is ridiculous. I know, this little thing she's wearing, but it's really cold and she was shivery, so I'm gonna have to get her a jacket or a sweater or something. Back to what I was saying, I shouldn't have looked at that footage because it really got into my head. It kind of paralyzed me a bit. I could think of all the things that I needed to do and all the things that were best for my health, best practices, but I did like the opposite. I was so stressed out, and which is a big reason why here I am back on YouTube, because YouTube helps me to follow through. YouTube helps me to show up because I give myself a deadline. And then if I get any sort of interaction from you lovely people, from the friends here that I've made on YouTube, it just is a cherry on top. You know, it's comforting, though it's sad to hear other people's struggles and things that you're going through. It also gives me a sense of like, hey, I'm not alone, and there's somebody else that I can help support, and we can support each other. And it's really lovely to me to be able to do that. And so I'm so grateful for any comments or anything that I get from you guys. Like, it really means a lot. But yeah, so I shouldn't have looked at that footage. It got in my head and it just really paralyzed me, which is around the time that I stepped back from YouTube. I was like, I can't do this. Like, it just overwhelmed my brain. I should have never gotten off YouTube. I should have just switched gears on YouTube because it really was keeping me very present. And so that's why we're back, because I really need that extra help. I need that extra support. And I love YouTube. I really love being able to get on here and share these videos. So after I had that scan with the pill, that's called a capsule anoscopy. After that camera pill was all done and they could see that I had the anastomosis and the narrowing of the bowel and all that kind of stuff, they said they needed to have a further, more in-depth imaging. So that's why my gastroenterologist, he requested that I get a, what is it called? MRI enterocolitis. I believe that's the name of it. I'll put it somewhere on the screen. That is a very specialized MRI. It's where they have to go and put a tube in your nose, and that tube is put into your nose through an x-ray. So you're underneath this machine, this x-ray, you're laying there with this tube in your, they're putting the tube in your nose as there's a technician standing right next to the surgeon, and the surgeon's feeding this tube in your nose, and then he's saying left, right, whatever, and this technician's moving the x-ray around so that he can see the part of my body that he needs to, go in. But once they get that tube in your nose, then they can use that tube to put in this dye into your body, which allows the MRI to get more in-depth footage. So you lay on your stomach, you've got this tube in your nose, you're laying in the MRI machine on your stomach, you've got your hands above your head, you've got this little thing in your hand that you can squeeze if you're in pain ever. And then you're hooked up to, you got this little cannular IV thing, which they use to shoot some dyes in as well. And then you've got this one hooked up to your nose, which is they're going to shoot dyes in there as well. So you're just laying here for like an hour in an MRI machine. So I got that MRI done. Finally, it took quite a long time to get that done because I went in to get that done, and the place that I went into was trying to give me an MRI enterography, which is where you drink a lot of fluid. You drink the kind of dye fluid contrast. Found out after that they don't actually do the enterocolitis one. So then I went to the place that did do the enterocolitis, and somebody up the chain was like, oh, that's just too specialized. She doesn't need that. We'll give her an endography. So again, I was like, no, my gastroenterologist doesn't want that. Sorry, I just got interrupted on a phone call from my surgeon from his rooms. So what was I saying? Where was I at? I finally got my enterocolitis. My gastroenterologist got the results for my enterocolitis, and they decided that they needed to do another test, which is the one that I'm going to be getting done on the 22nd of August. I'll be getting a double balloon enterography. No, a double balloon. Oh my gosh, there's so many names to remember. A double balloon endoscopy, yes. Which is where they can either take a thicker tube / camera with a balloon on the end. I don't quite understand this test. I've not had it yet. I'll explain it more in detail once I understand it better, but I know that there's 3 days of like really intense bowel prep before I do this one. I know that the end result of what they're trying to get out of me doing the double balloon procedure is that they're going to be able to go in there and tattoo internally the two on both sides of the stricture that needs to be removed, so that when they go in for the surgery, they actually know the exact spot that needs to be removed, so that they can go do it as a keyhole surgery and not have to open me up all the way down my stomach. I'm grateful for that. I definitely would prefer a keyhole surgery because they're easier to recover from, and so I'm looking forward to that. And that's just where we're at right now. I see my specialist I have a consultation for the specialist to do the double balloon endoscopy or endoscopy, however you want to say it. I see him for a consultation on the 17th. And then on the 18th, I go in for a consultation with my surgeon. I know that I'm booked in for my double balloon procedure on the 22nd of August. I'm hoping that on the 18th, when I go in and see my surgeon, since I know when I'm getting the double balloon, I can also book in for my surgery. I'm hoping just to go into hospital for the double balloon and stay in hospital and just get it all done. So that's where we're at right now with the whole health situation. Now, what I want to do, and the reason I want to get back onto YouTube to kind of help me out here, is I would like to document myself and how I'm going to try and lower inflammation in my body. I definitely feel a lot of inflammation. Part of that is being sick right now, but I want to try to nourish and love my GI tract right now, my bowels and my stomach, and just try to be very soothing and loving to that. I know that your stomach can change so rapidly for the better or for the worse in such a short amount of time. And so I really want to love myself and share that with you guys by the food that I'm eating, by the things that I'm going to be doing, and get myself prepared for this double balloon and also for the surgery that's coming up. And then we can get through the healing process of the surgery, and then I want to turn into Betty Crocker, guys. I want to be doing all the garden stuff. I want to be doing all the baking stuff. I want to be doing all the freezer meals. I want to be doing all of that kind of stuff and really just delve into that. I want to continue with my getting out of debt journey. I want to continue with my health. I definitely don't take my health for granted, and I've realized that it's not about weight, because if I had a choice to stay alive and live my life, live a nice long life at the weight that I am now, I don't actually see a problem with that. It's only after having this health situation where I'm just like, why am I wasting so much time chasing this super skinny, snatched waist? I really don't understand that. I have a beautiful body, even though I'm back up to 200 and almost 10 pounds. It's really not the worst case scenario for myself, like in terms of like the way that I look. And it's just been a huge wake-up call for me, and I want to, after I have the surgery, continue to keep good habits so that I can just feel my best. And whatever weight I end up falling at is the weight that I want to be. What I'm going to do for my body is I want to make some bone broth, so we'll do that together. We're going to make a lot of bone broth. I've bought the bones for that bone broth, and I want to do bone broth every day, and I want to try and do omelets. Omelets are very soothing for me. They don't cause me a lot of discomfort or pain. So I want to do omelets. I want to do bone broth. I think I'm gonna do smoothies here and there. It's very cold still. I'm not really feeling the whole smoothie thing, but definitely feeling bone broth because it'll be very soothing and warming to have a nice cup of warm bone broth and to have a really nice warm yummy omelet. I also want to try to do health balancing on the rebounder and get myself outside. I've had to already be outside a lot more since I've had Rosie because she likes to go on walks. Do you get to be outside? Do you like it? Yes, you do. So we've had to be outside for Rosie more. I really want to settle into my life, and I want to gain balance in my life, and I want to look at the beauty of things, be more grateful. I want to, more than ever, I want to have this life that the world right now is telling us all that we can't have, right? The world is going through some crazy things right now. I want to make a different reality for myself. I want to focus on the good things and appreciate those things and not play into the fear and the stress of the world and what's going on. I want to really love my life and appreciate it. So that's where we're at. I'm sorry that I sound so monotone. My nose hurts really bad if I don't just talk at this very consistent tone. But yeah, that's it. That's it for this video. I'm so grateful that you guys are here. I'm grateful that you guys are supporting me through this. So the next video for Monday is going to be, we're going to be making some bone broth, and we're going to be going through like a day of my new health routine and what I'm doing. We're also going to next week go through the garden. I know I have planted a lot of potatoes. I want to see if I got any potatoes, and I want to dig those up, and I want to try and get a couple of other plants in the garden, just really easy, low maintenance, like tomatoes and sweet peas, things like that that are going to be really good to grow during the springtime, that are high yield but low effort for myself right now, especially if I have a surgery. I'm not sure when that is, but if it's at the end of this month, I'm not going to be able to do a whole lot, probably in September, maybe even into October. So there's just so much to be grateful for, and I want to be grateful. I want to tap into that place of gratitude and love, and I'm really hoping you guys come along with me on the journey. Again, next week we're going to be looking at the garden a little bit, kind of cleaning that all up very slowly, and we're going to be planting a couple of other plants, and we're going to look at the house and kind of see what I've done. If you can see that I've painted my light blue walls. I got this really bright picture from an op shop. I found it for $20 and I really loved it, but I didn't really love it on the blue walls against it. So I painted these walls. I've kind of started taking the house and making it a little bit more calm, and then adding in pops of color just to help me feel more calm and centered. Show you as well. So that's the picture that I found at the op shop. I really love it, and I love it with the walls that are a bit more calm. I'm going to, right here, you guys saw me take out that whole area, that TV cabinet, and I'm going to shiplap behind there. I would like to do that shiplap and then take the TV and mount it onto the wall. We're going to redo this whole thing here. I've got an idea of how I'm going to paint it and upcycle it. I recently purchased this really large rug because Rosie, excuse my clean laundry there, but Rosie gets really stressed out if she has to walk on like the hard floor. So we've got a carpet there, I've got a rug there, and I even have one here at the bottom of the stairs so that she can hop up to the stairs. Another thing that I wanted to share with you guys is my painting. I painted this, and this is kind of like the pop of color I was talking about. So as you're sitting at the table here, you can look over and you'll be able to see these bright colors and enjoy. I find that eating at the table, it's really nice, and it's going to be this beautiful pop of color, right? Looking at the house this way, it's a lot more calm. So I've got clean laundry on the table there, and I've got clean laundry here. So I'll show this to you in just a minute when it's clean. But this is very calming, and I can be in my space, and I can have cozy blankets and nice pillows and a something calming to look at. Even when I'm sitting at this place and looking at the picture there, it's still calming because it's just a pop of color and it's not overwhelming to my senses. I also, if you can see, I repainted the door. That was a green color. I repainted that just a bit more calming. It matches this bee picture that I absolutely adore. And I'm just going to start doing little by little. I'm gonna have somebody else, I'm paying someone to paint up the wall here because I cannot reach it up there. So they're gonna paint all of this and paint that wall and all up in there. So my messy, ignore that. It's life, you know. I've had to come to the point where I appreciate the mess as well. It means I'm alive, and I'm grateful for that. So say thank you for joining the video. Thank you for joining the video. Say, I'm just a buggy-eyed cutie. I'm just a buggy-eyed cutie. I will see you guys in the next video. Say bye. Bye-bye. Bye, friends.